Hello everyone, friends. I'm in Naples, the city of eternal celebration, with noisy people, noisy cars, noisy scooters, laundry hanging from terraces, and the smell of fried food. And seeing all this, you have no doubt where you are right now, and the people here in Naples live with the hellish prospect of another eruption of Vesuvius, so they are always waiting for something. Last year they awaited Napoli's championship, and what are they waiting for now? Actually, that's a good question that I'd like to ask the heroes of this episode. And in general, I didn't come here to once again talk about Maradona, about his iconic places, about the scudetto that Napoli won last year. I came here to show football in Naples through the lens of the people who live here, who do completely different things, have different occupations, but all believe in the special football club Napoli. All these people will talk about their Naples, about the Naples where football holds a special place. You should see this. And before we start, I recommend subscribing to my Telegram channel, the link to which is in the video description. There I publish interesting long reads, rare football photos, stadium reviews, and generally talk about my life. There are also prediction contests for Eurocup matches where winners receive valuable prizes, but most importantly, only in the pinned post of the Telegram channel will you find a link to a special promotion where you can go to the resource you need and take whatever you want. And you'll watch sports events with even more interest. Go ahead, subscribe, and now let's move on. Meet Diego Maradona Jr., the illegitimate son of all Neapolitans' idol, an unemployed head coach. Daniel Bellini, everyone calls him Decibel because he makes noise at matches in Naples and the whole stadium supports him in this. Jorit, yes, just Jorit, a street artist, author of several outstanding football graffiti decorating Naples. Rosario Dello, a writer and musician who has seen life. Pasquale, a resident of the dangerous Scampia district, who lost his brother in clashes between Napoli and Roma fan groups. Davide, a bright representative of the Ultras Napoli who is banned from attending the home arena for 5 years. To immerse myself in football Naples, one person is helping me here. His name is Dario, and I'm going to meet him now. He doesn't actually know that he will become one of the heroes of this episode. He'll probably find out after the fact when I start filming him, but he's a very interesting guy, and he introduced me to many football people here in Naples who agreed to meet, and probably without Dario, they would never have agreed to meet with me. So big respect to him for this help, and at the same time I want to show his life, because his life here in Naples is no less interesting than the lives of the people I will show in this episode. Hi Dario.
Hey, how's it going? By the way, yesterday the Napoli basketball club won the Italian Cup.
Wow.
It's just a miracle because basketball here is very average.
Why didn't you tell me earlier? I would have gladly gone to the game.
Well, the game was in Turin. Yeah, the Italian Cup final. Yes.
Were you born and raised in Naples?
Yes.
Have you lived here all your life?
Yes.
What do you do?
I have my own marketing agency.
Where are we going?
We're going to the Maradona Stadium.
What's the game today?
Napoli-Genoa.
By the way, Neapolitans had a friendship with Genoa fans for 34 years. It all started in the 81-82 season when the teams drew 2-2 in Naples, which in turn allowed Genoa to stay in Serie A, while Milan was relegated for the first time in history. Grateful fans from Genoa celebrated their salvation right in Naples all night, generously supplying Neapolitans with alcohol. In the 2006-2007 season, Genoa and Napoli drew 0-0 in Liguria, and this result meant that the old football friends were promoted to Serie A together. The episode from '82 was repeated, only this time the Night of Madness took place in Genoa, but everything ends eventually. Now the great friendship has come to an end. According to various rumors, the reason was Inter fans who were supported by Genoa tifosi in one of the clashes with Neapolitans. I heard Napoli and Genoa fans are friends.
They used to be friends, but now the relationship is on pause. Why? In general, today most Italian ultras adhere to right-wing ideas, especially in the north, and they despise us southerners. In Italy, there have historically been many migrants, and internal migration has always been developed. Southerners massively moved north, where locals considered them second-class citizens. Very often, rental ads stated that apartments were not rented to Neapolitans. But we are one nation. How is that possible?
What can you say about the differences between generations of Napoli fans?
The stands are the face of the city, a means of society. Previously, ultras were very united. They did not make contact with journalists, with the outside world. Now times are different. Young people have their own guidelines.
Do you remember a favorite Euro trip, maybe in the Champions League?
I don't remember anything like that. How can I say? For me, Serie A is more important. Winning the Italian championship is more important to me than the Champions League. The Napoli team is more than just a team for us. And the fight against the North on the football field is also a fight against racism, discrimination, disrespect, a fight for dignity.
Wow, what a stadium.
The Diego Armando Maradona Stadium. Honestly, I've wanted to visit this stadium for a long time, and it seems to me that this is one of the most atmospheric arenas in Europe, because for me personally, Naples is real football. And what they did last year, they probably restored many people's faith that real football still exists.
And being here is very pleasant. As psychologists say, the gestalt is closed.
Napoli concedes to Genoa, they are losing 0-1, and the game is actually just sad. The only person who can be highlighted in Napoli's lineup is kvaratskhelia. He is just trying to pull the entire attack, but the team does not support him at all. Napoli just makes a depressing impression, and how they will play with Barcelona in a few days here remains a mystery to me.
To the Deloene stand. I was kicked out of the VIP stand. Now they sat me down below, and now they come and ask if I have accreditation at all for filming.
I hope I can still get some shots here. Actually, the atmosphere is top-notch. The support is just great. A full stadium. Honestly, I can't even imagine what it will be like for Barcelona, but what I see now is just a great atmosphere. Real football. Naples is real football. When last season, where Napoli confidently went to the scudetto, Luciano Spalletti said he would leave the club, the fans were just shocked. The fact that the coach is leaving at the moment when he is writing himself into the club's history suggests that something is wrong within the team. Nevertheless, Luciano, having won the title, replaced Mancini at the helm of the country's main team, and De Laurentiis had to look for a new leader. The number one candidate was Antonio Conte, but he himself decided not to go to Naples. Luis Enrique eventually chose PSG. Later, by the way, De Laurentiis called Enrique's choice a stroke of luck for Naples. In my opinion, not a very respectful statement for a club president. In the end, the choice fell on Rudi Garcia, and in Italy no one understood this move. This manager has a rather bad reputation. He failed more often than he succeeded in anything worthwhile. Moreover, it is said that he has a terrible two-faced character. The Frenchman's last place of work was Al Nassr, from where he was fired after less than a year at the helm. The Azzurri started the season well, with 2 wins in Serie A and a win in the Champions League group. But after a stupid loss to Empoli, Garcia was fired. Walter Mazzarri, who replaced him, did not significantly improve the situation. Another funny thing is that Napoli's stands are divided. There is curva A, there is curva B. They seem to support the team, but everyone sings differently. This actually gives a very unusual feeling. There is noise in the stadium, but everyone is different. For some reason, they conflict and don't sit together. An unusual sight. The Diego Armando Maradona Stadium is rightly considered one of the noisiest in Europe, and largely thanks to one person who here performs not just the function of a stadium announcer, he truly energizes the stands. His name is Daniel Bellini, and as he himself tells, he accidentally got this job. 10 people refused this job before him. But he came, held one match, and everyone really liked it. Napoli won then, and for probably 10 years now he has been such a stadium announcer. There are actually a lot of viral videos on the internet where he runs along the sideline shouting Higuain's name, and the whole stadium supports him. And today we will look at Daniel, get to know him, talk. Excuse me.
Excuse me, Italian or English?
Italian and English, yes. Are you okay? We'll try. Okay. Tell me, how did your work as an announcer start?
Oh, it was a happy coincidence. 15 years ago, I ended up on a list of DJs and hosts that the club was reviewing as a new stadium announcer. They needed someone literally for one game. I was chosen, and for so many years now, I spend every weekend here.
And no one will replace you.
I hope not. You never know. But I hope that I'll have to die at the stadium, preferably closer to 99.
Is it true that you work here for free? Yes, it's true. And what do you do for a living?
I'm a DJ. I work at parties, some other events. I also work on the radio. But this is my passion. I was born with blue blood running through my veins. So I've loved Napoli since I was a baby.
Were you born here in Naples?
Yes. When I was little, I had a Maradona poster hanging over my bed. Every time I fell asleep, I looked at it. It was like a ritual.
Is it true that you were even a host at someone's wedding?
Yeah, I was.
Whose?
Jorginho, Mertens. I've organized many birthday celebrations for them.
What's the main difference between the north and south of Italy?
These are two different countries. Naples is a state within a state. We differ in everything, even in lifestyle. We are a bit more emotional, passionate here. This affects the support of the team. Neapolitans adore their team.
When Napoli signed Kvaratskhelia, was it difficult to learn his name?
Kvaratskhelia, yes, a great footballer, a wonderful person. He helped us all learn his last name correctly, and now it's not a problem for me.
Gonzalo Higuain made you famous, right? Yeah, what do you think of him? He left Napoli for Juventus.
Of course, having such a player in the lineup was great. He's an amazing forward. He broke the Serie A record by scoring 36 goals in a season. This achievement has not been surpassed yet. But when he left for Juventus, we were of course very upset. What can you do? It's his choice and we have to respect it.
How much does it cost to hire you as a wedding host?
Oh, you need to discuss this with my agent. Dario, my agent, talk to him.
What I love about football is the intertwining of destinies, the kind of stories you can only see in movies. Many of you know that the main star of Napoli was Diego Armando Maradona, but few of you know that there is also a small football club, Napoli, which was coached by Maradona Jr. Napoli, or Afro-Napoli United, is an amateur club founded in 2009. Since then, they have managed to overcome FIFA restrictions, nurture a couple of players for Serie A, and even attract Diego Maradona to their team. Diego Maradona Jr. Yes, the legendary Argentine number 10 has a son named after him. But first things first, Maradona Jr. was born here in Naples. He was born in 1986 as a result of the romance between the Argentine legend and a local girl. Little Diego, whose paternity was only recognized by the Argentine in 2016, loved football from childhood but never reached great heights. He is better remembered for his performances for his country's beach soccer team. Sturdy and short, just like his father. So, 3 years ago, in 2021, Diego Maradona Jr. agreed to play for Napoli United in Serie D. However, Diego's parting with the club was not as beautiful as the whole story. In 2021, he returned here as a coach. But the pandemic happened, which hit amateur clubs the hardest, forcing them to cut budgets as much as possible. So Maradona Jr. left the project on March 14th last year, as he stated, in protest against the non-payment of salaries to him and the staff.
Do you know Diego Maradona's son? Can you tell us something about him?
I'll say that it's very difficult to be Maradona's son. This man's story is unique. He grew up as the son of Diego Maradona, the best footballer in the world. But Diego did not acknowledge paternity. But when you see him, you'll be convinced he looks very much like him.
Like his dad. Face, figure, where are we going?
We're going to meet Maradona. He's an important person in the city. If you're Diego Maradona's son, you'll hold a special place in Naples. When I was a kid, they said on TV that Diego Maradona had a son born in a Naples hospital. It was a big
Scandal. And who is his mother?
Cristiana Sinagra.
And who is she? A model?
No, she's an ordinary woman. I don't remember what she worked as. Maybe in a beauty salon. I can't tell you much about her, but I remember a lot about Maradona Jr. For example, when he was a kid, he got too much attention. Everyone wondered if he would become as phenomenal a player as
His father, but he didn't, right?
well, his career turned out to be quite strange, of course. You know, living and playing under such pressure and with such public attention is not easy. He was always compared to his father.
We arrived in the city of Nicola, where Maradona Jr. lives. One of these houses is his. And now we've decided to choose a football field here and have a little challenge with him, to see how hard Maradona can kick. And in general, I want to say that I never would have thought that I would get to play football with Maradona. It's probably a unique feeling, so some kind of training center. And in general, here we will face off with Diego Armando Maradona Jr. This is
Motor-like. Preventive procedures because I'm a bit out of shape right now.
Are you playing for any team right now?
No, I'm currently working as a soccer coach. I was the head coach of Pompeii until December. Parted ways. Now I'm waiting.
Tell us about your childhood, how you grew up, what you did when you started playing soccer. Tell us about it.
My childhood was mostly calm and happy. I lived with my mom, grandmother, and my mom's family. I started playing soccer when I was 4 and stopped when I was 34 or 35.
Why didn't you succeed in big soccer, unlike beach soccer? In Naples, you became champions of Italy in beach soccer, but why didn't you play with leading teams in big soccer?
It's hard to answer because there were different factors that prevented me from becoming a professional soccer player. Also, Obviously, I made some mistakes too, but I can't give you a definite answer. Let's just say I made mistakes and was never treated like an ordinary guy, unfortunately. But I'm happy and satisfied with what I've done.
So, we're in the city of Licola, which is near Naples. On the soccer field, Dario is showing what he's capable of. We're waiting for Maradona Jr. to do a challenge with him. We'll kick the goal 5 times each. I'll dictate the conditions to him now. Let's go. 5 kicks for you and 5 for me. What are you doing now? What are your plans for the future?
I've started to believe that if you think about the future, you lose the present, and you don't live and enjoy the present moment. I can tell you what I wish for myself. I wish for my family to be okay, and for me to continue improving my skills. But it's hard to say what we expect from the future. Definitely, for everything to be okay.
Who do you think is the best soccer player in history?
My dad? That's normal. Diego Maradona. No history, no ifs, no buts.
Does your name help you in life?
Never, quite the opposite. Most of the time it harmed me. I'm proud of my name and I'm happy to be who I am.
Okay, tell us a little about your father. When did you meet him for the first time?
When I was 17, I met him for the first time. And when I was 30, I established a relationship with him.
Imagine if you had the chance to say something to your father. What would you say?
I told him everything. I don't regret anything. We said everything to each other. We talked a lot. It's normal that I would have liked him to see Napoli's victory, Argentina's World Cup win. But I don't regret anything because we said everything to each other.
Thank you very much. Honestly, Maradona Jr. is like a smaller version of his father. Emotionally smaller, he has absolutely no expression. He seems very tired of life, as if being Maradona's son is a heavy burden on him. And you can just see it in how the guy behaves. And in my opinion, he's not interested in anything at all. He talked to us as if he was dying. Can you show me a real Neapolitan pizza?
Yes, that place isn't as popular as other pizzerias, but for me, this pizza is the real deal.
So, we're going to test the most original pizza in Naples that exists. Dario says the place itself might not be very nice, but in his opinion, they make the best pizza in Naples there. I believe him.
Coffee is very important to us. It's a special drink.
What? Does pizza auto mean?
It's an old Neapolitan tradition. You can eat a pizza and you have 8 days to pay for it.
And
Can I ask to pay like that in a pizzeria today?
I don't think so, unless you know the owner of the pizzeria. For example, I always pay right away. It's just an old tradition.
We need to choose some pizza right now. Let's get a margherita. Do you want a classic one? I'll get another classic pizza, a simple pizza.
Like this.
So, Dario says that now, sitting at this table in such an unremarkable pizzeria, going down a floor, will get the pizza he considers the oldest, the most traditional from the times when it first appeared here.
And it appeared, by the way, in the mid-19th century, back in Pushkin's time. Here in Naples, they made pizza.
And they invented it here in principle, and here was the very first pizzeria in the world. Here's the margherita that Dario promised. And he says it's the best margherita in Naples, but it looks just cool. Just an amazing handmade job on the dough. Just a delight, probably tastes great too. Dario, what can you say? It's just... an incredible margherita. The best I've ever had in my life.
Where?
Are we going?
We're going to meet Rosario Dello.
And who is that?
Tell us about him. Rosario is a very smart guy. Plus, he's well versed in fan culture. Overall, he's a well-rounded person. He was the manager of a band.
A music band?
Yes, it's called 99 Posse.
Oh, I've heard of them. They say he wrote a book about them.
He sometimes hangs out in Naples, sometimes in London. He works as a steward at stadiums there. Well, he's a journalist, writes articles for a local newspaper.
Do you work in England?
Yeah.
As a steward at soccer games?
Yes, I do a lot of things. I have my own business. I'm also studying at a university in London.
And you work at stadiums in England?
Yes, at all except Watford, Millwall and Crystal Palace stadiums.
Were there problems with Millwall hooligans? They say those guys are tough.
Well, no, it's different now. After the birth of the Premier League, after new laws against hooliganism, the situation is not what it was decades ago. Everything has changed. Tickets have become very expensive. And today in London and in other British cities, you can see that real fans gather not at the stadium on game day, but in pubs. They just can't afford to buy a ticket, and inside there are plastic fans. For example, if you go to Stamford Bridge or the Emirates.
And to the new West Ham Stadium, the Olympic.
The West Ham Arena is more of an exception now. I'll explain. There are so-called hospitality zones at stadiums like at Wembley. There are whole restaurants there. And booking a table for the cup final costs £4,500. That's just for the table. Food and drinks are paid separately.
It's all for tourists, Chinese and so on.
Of course, there are also Russians, as they say, oligarchs and Asians. In short, nothing happens at the stadiums. Is it boring there? Well, from the perspective of the good old days, yes. They sit, and only a few years ago they were allowed to watch games standing. I worked in the real sectors. In Italy, all the ultras are more organized. They meet in the middle of the week, prepare performances, draw something. When we travel away, we must defend our colors if necessary. And the classic English model of fandom is like this. We gathered, the three of us, pulled someone else in, the guys next door joined, and we already have a mob. Paradoxically, today the English are starting to turn to the Italian style for more organized support of their club. But I can compare. I lived in London from 84 to 87. I was at the old Stamford Bridge, the old Den, the bowling ground, the old West Ham Arena, and you can't compare. Just a different world. From the 80s to this day, there's been a large flow of emigration. These young guys from minorities are not really interested in soccer. Instead, in the 80s, the most aggressive, violent elements of society were predominantly among white working-class Englishmen like Cass Pennant from West Ham.
Yes, I know him. I met him in London and shot a video with Cass Pennant. He gave me a tour of Green Street and showed me the bowling ground.
He says the bowling ground is our temple, but do you see what's happening now?
I'd probably tell you a story from 2009. I'm not sure about the date. There was a friendly match between West Ham and Napoli then. August 8th, 2009. So, Napoli went bankrupt in 2004. We were in the second league. The club was a financial underdog. As a result, we were relegated to Serie C. So about the friendly with West Ham. We went there after a very long break without Napoli games in Europe. There were 3,000 of us.
The game was in England?
Yes, of course. If you look up Napoli fans away against West Ham on Google or YouTube, you'll find videos of lots of Neapolitans coming out of pubs from early morning. We had guys from Millwall with us. We have a good connection with them, and so we walked down Priory Road. It's a small street approaching the away sector of the stadiums. I looked at the buildings nearby. They were just like these. And I thought, just imagine what it's like for people to live here. A few years later, I started dating an Italian girl who, like me, lived in London. And one day she suggested we meet in the evening, have dinner, go somewhere. Can you imagine she lived in one of those buildings? So I saw every day how they demolished and dismantled the bowling ground, how they took away the stadium piece by piece, this huge history.
Tell me about the people of Naples. What kind of people live here?
You have to start with the fact that Italy united into one country only about 100 years ago. Before that, we were divided into several parts. For 600 years, Naples was the capital of a southern state, and it's not like everyone really wanted to unite and live under one roof. There was even a conflict between Piedmont, that's the northern part, and Naples. I wouldn't call it a war. Rather, it was an expansion by the northerners. They wanted to rule the whole country. Officially, the state was called the Kingdom of Sardinia with its capital in Cagliari, but in reality, Turin ran everything. Familiar name? Juventus. That's why we have such a serious rivalry with them.
Were you born and have you lived in Naples all your life?
Yes.
No.
I lived in London for more than 10 years, 7 years in Milan, about 3 years in Florence, and also lived in Sardinia. I worked as an agent for some Italian music bands, mostly from Naples.
An agent? You organized concerts for them?
Let's say he's a rapper. If someone wants to organize your concert, they have to talk to me.
Oh, so you find the venue, sell tickets.
We sign a contract. I handle all the event organization, so I've been traveling all over Italy for 20 years. I know every city like the back of my hand. As I said, Italy is a fairly young country, but still quite divided.
What does that mean?
Briganti. I told you about this. Here are two countries fighting for power. Briganti were the brigades of people fighting for our region. And here's my nephew's name, Yuri.
Wow, what a surprise.
Yuri is a common Russian name, so my nephew is named that. I thought, why not in Italian? I want to tattoo his name in Russian. Here's just a lizard, and these scars are from Madrid. We played against Real 3 months ago. A bottle hit me.
And now I'll tell you a story that could only happen in Naples. 11 years ago, in 2013, a devoted fan of Turin's Juventus, Davide Bonavito, formed the ultras group True Boys.
The group grew, actively showed itself at the stadium and beyond. Later, Bonavito founded a small faction of the legendary group Drughi. Let me remind you, Drughi is the most famous and largest faction in Juventus' stands. 6 years passed, and suddenly Davide confessed that he had actually been a Napoli fan all his life, and the True Boys group was just a way to infiltrate Juventus' stands and try to destroy it from within. Here in Naples, there's a special attitude towards this club. Hatred for Juve has always been off the charts, and Higuain's direct transfer only added fuel to the fire.
In Naples in general, they don't think well of Northerners because in their opinion, other Italians look down on the people of the South. So, after all the truth came out, the True Boys emblem changed its colors and moved to Napoli's sector. And Bonavito himself moved to Germany to avoid trouble. But, according to him, he's not afraid of Juventus fans' revenge because he did the whole scheme purely out of love for his city and team. I tried to get in touch with him, but Davide never responded to me. We stopped by the school where Dario suggested meeting his son, who is in elementary school. But I couldn't refuse, of course, so here we are. We met some English friend of his standing with his back to us. We're meeting.
Hello.
Dorian. Wants to become a soccer player. Do you want to play as number 10 for Napoli? Personally, I associate Naples with some kind of strong pirate bay. The port is right here, because people here live by their own laws and orders, left over from the Neapolitan mafia.
Of course, this angle of life is in many ways fair and honest, but at the same time it's very dangerous for people from all walks of life.
In general, when you flip through different guides and they talk about Naples, no one advises going to the Scampia area, which is in the northern part of Naples, because even during the day this area is very dangerous. A lot of crime lives there, and they say the Scampia area is the base of the Camorra. The Scampia that everyone knows and fears began on November 23rd, 80. In southern Italy, one of the strongest earthquakes in the country's history occurred. The magnitude of the tremors was 6.9 on the Richter scale. People needed to be resettled somewhere. So, in the north of Naples, huge hastily built residential buildings grew, romantically named Sales. Alas, there was never any romance here. The area populated by poor immigrants quickly became the crime capital of the entire south and the den of the well-known mafia group, the Camorra. But Dario and I decided to go there to meet a man named Pasquale. He's a prominent figure in the local ultra movement, the Napoli Ultras, a guy from the working class. And he's known because his brother was shot in the face by Roma fans a few years ago. After that, this guy became famous in Naples. Everyone sympathizes with him a lot. Right now, we're heading to meet Pasquale. Dario decided to introduce me to him. Dario says it's dangerous to film the sails up close. But we'll try to do it. This is what it looks like. It's actually a magnificent building, very beautiful, especially in the sunlight. It's just a stunning sight. But that's only in the morning, yes. Morning is a normal time to visit this place, but at night it's a different story. Right, of course, welcome. To Pasquale. Pasquale lives here in Scampia. Pasquale is a big Napoli fan. And now he's going to tell us the story of Scampia, about the area, in general what's happening here, and also the story of his brother, who was shot by Roma fans. I'm asking you about this too. Can you tell me about the relationship between Napoli and Roma fans? I know that fans of these two clubs are friends, but there are constant clashes and quarrels between them.
What's going on?
We had friendly, almost familial relations. In Italy, we call it twin relations. Then the relationship deteriorated. Then there was a murder, and it's clear that not everyone was involved, but good relations between the fans became impossible.
Now we're in Scampia, and I've heard a lot of bad things about this area, that it's the most criminal area in Western Europe. Is that true? What is the Scampia area like now?
No, like any area on the outskirts, for example, in Milan, Turin, Bologna. There are economic difficulties because the state doesn't care about these areas. It was like that in the 2000s and 1990s. But in the last 20 years, Scampia has changed, evolved into a normal area. You see, no one has robbed you. You can walk around the area normally. At the moment, it's the calmest peripheral area of Naples. I have to tell you, there's a beautiful villa here. There's a university. Various events for young people take place here, including those I lead. We have a 5-person football team. We often hold community events for our area, and our football team is called Tiro Vive.
Can you tell us what happened to your brother? In 2014, on that day, what happened to him?
We were together the day before the murder, and I also had a ticket to that match. I wanted to go with him, but at the last moment something came up at the garage where I work, and I stayed in Naples. And my cousin, a Napoli fan, Mimo, was working with me. I told him, you know what, I feel a bit strange. There was some kind of premonition. He said, it's okay, calm down. He said, stay. And I gave him a gift. I gave him my ticket, and he promised to work 2 shifts for me. My brother Ciro was very upset. I should have been with him. We were very close because we were about the same age. I was born in '82, and Ciro was born in '84. In general, I should have been there when Ciro was shot.
Yes, and can you tell us about De Sanctis? I know he was sentenced to 16 years in prison. Do you think that's a fair sentence for what he did? Or is it too harsh? Or, on the contrary, too lenient?
Personally, I think the sentence he received is unjust. He got only 16 years for killing my brother, and he should have been sentenced for life because no one has the right to take another person's life. Whether he was very young, old, whoever he was, it's wrong to kill a person. Because for me, a person who killed another deserves a life sentence, right? The Italian law justified him, saying that they can't sentence a 50-year-old to life because supposedly there was no malicious intent in his actions. Can you imagine? The examination found that he was mentally ill, so he can't serve the full sentence. It's just madness. He didn't just shoot my brother. 2 other people were also injured.
And so we arrived, it turns out, at the Brothers Museum here. Pasquale brought us. Tiro Vive, participant. What's inside? Let's see. This is how a person honors the memory of his brother.
Wow! Here are the Napoli fans' songs from the Diego Maradona Stadium. Songs that the ultras sing about my brother. I want to show you something. This is my mom, and this is Maradona. I never give interviews, especially not about the Napoli ultras. But out of respect for Russia, I'm making an exception.
If you were, for example, from Rome or somewhere in Italy, Pasquale would most likely refuse to give an interview. I respect you for creating this museum about your brother and for supporting his memory in this way.
It's really cool. At Ciro's funeral, the leaders of the Ultras Lazio came. They came to plead for the Romans and Roma fans to avoid further casualties. During the negotiations, the Napoli Ultras and Scuola hinted that even if they wanted to make some kind of pact, certain people wouldn't allow it. The Camorra. The principle of blood for blood is still here. Yes, mommy, is this your mom?
Hello.
We've met before. I don't know if you remember me. I'm really pleased to meet you again.
This is Alex.
He's from Moscow. He asked me from Moscow to tell this story.
Sometimes looking back, I ask myself, okay, Ciro was a great guy, but even if he was a bad guy, at that time he wasn't doing anything wrong. Neither he nor the other 3 people should have been shot, because during the last shot, his gun jammed, but he pointed it at the 3rd person's forehead. Unfortunately, there's silent complicity around this story, as always with the Ultras, which I don't share, to be honest, because they could have given Daniele De Sanctis a life sentence for a terrorist act.
Can I ask you, have you forgiven De Sanctis, let's say?
Well, forgiveness is a very important word. Why forgiveness? Because many people ask me if I want justice. Of course I want justice. Not execution, because otherwise I would have executed him with my own hands, but thank God I don't feel hatred, so forgiveness arose from my heart for the person who shot my son, but it's forgiveness that saved me, my life, my family, because I got rid of the acid that would have corroded my family and my life. Today, I'm a happy woman, I have grandchildren, I can live for them, I love my children, I love life. I breathe. I enjoy the sun because I have this peace in my heart. If I hadn't forgiven today, I would be an angry woman thirsting for revenge.
Pasquale says there's a park here in Scampia named after his brother Ciro Esposito, and in general Ciro is quite a popular person here. Of course, the sad events led to his popularity, but overall it's a big respect that the relatives honor the memory of their deceased son or brother like this. It's really cool. It's probably only possible in Naples. With their traditions, with their eternally open soul. Only they can do it, I think. Hi, Petro.
We don't talk to racists in Napoli.
We don't talk to racists in Napoli. We don't talk to racists in Napoli. We don't talk to racists in Napoli. We don't talk to racists in Napoli. Let's go to my place. I live nearby. I'll show you that I have vodka in the shape of a Kalashnikov. It's Strange story. He has a Kalashnikov box for vodka. His son Giovanni lives here. If my wife sees this, she'll kill me. Pasquale. Has 2 sons and now he's showing his apartment. How he lives. This is Ciro. Is this a gift from someone? Yes, it was given to me in Rome, directly by the owner of the hotel where we stayed all the time. And of course my collection of the most famous and interesting Neapolitans couldn't do without this person. His name is Giorit. He's a street artist. His works can be found not only in Naples but all over the world. He works in the genre of hyperrealism, and even in the Moscow suburb of Odintsovo there's his graffiti, a huge graffiti of Yuri Gagarin. And we agreed to meet. So we arrived at the most famous Maradona graffiti in Naples, created by Giorit. Or do we have a meeting scheduled somewhere here with him?
We need to eat pizza together.
Do you want to eat pizza?
Yeah.
Let's go. How long until our meeting with Giorit?
About 20 minutes.
Let's go then.
If anything, he'll wait. I need to call him.
Is it 11 now? Our meeting was scheduled for 11. Well, yes. Well, it's already 11. Yurik, did you hear that the municipality wants to demolish this building?
Yes, I heard. I met with the mayor and he promised me that we could save everything. I have no idea how they're gonna do it. But if they decide to demolish this wall, I'll break it down with my own hands.
Is this your most famous mural?
The biggest? No, not the biggest. The biggest is in the center of Naples. It's 3 times bigger than this drawing.
And who's depicted?
Also Maradona, but there's also a famous actor and singer from Naples nearby.
And is this your main job? Do you make a living from this?
No, we made this painting with money collected by the townspeople, but I didn't earn anything from it.
Do you paint on commission at all?
No, I work for people, not for money. I live nearby myself. No one knew about this building before. Everyone avoided this place. These houses were called sales, and this place had a bad reputation. But now tourists from all over the world come here to see Maradona.
How did it all start for you? How did you start painting? How long ago?
I was 15, still a kid. It all started with just writing my name on walls. Then I drew, practiced, tried more and more large-scale inscriptions. And eventually I came to painting portraits.
All the faces have these red stripes.
It's my thing, my style.
So everyone understands that it's your work.
Yeah.
Did you study painting at some university?
No, I learned on the street.
And do you support Napoli?
Of course.
Are you going to the game against Barcelona?
I don't go to stadiums anymore. They photograph you, you have to tell them everything about yourself. The control is too strict. We used to sneak into the stadium without a ticket, jumping over fences. And today everything is under surveillance.
If Napoli wins the Champions League, will you paint something?
I don't paint under the influence of the club's results. My works are timeless. They're for people, for the city. I don't work in the moment.
And how did you come to Russia? By invitation?
You had a huge street art festival. They invited the most famous artists in the world. I then painted Gagarin, and people really liked this work. It started being talked about in the news, and I was invited again. It was part of a street art festival. Italian media smear anyone who goes against state propaganda. And they started to badmouth me, but I don't care at all. They wrote that I would have problems due to copyright infringement. I have no problems at all.
What don't you like about modern Italy?
It's easier for me to say what I like because there's a lot I don't like. We copy the American attitude towards the world. It's a very individualistic and selfish approach. We're destroying our social system. If you're born rich, all doors are open to you. But if you're from a simple family, you won't succeed. The vast majority of the poor die poor.
What are your future plans? Where will your next painting be? In Sochi. In Sochi? Have you started yet? No. I'm flying there in 10 days, and what will it be?
I can't say yet.
Surprise. And then will you tell us?
Later, of course.
Is it related to football?
No. It's about Russian-Italian friendship.
In Italy, there's a famous director named Vincenzo De Simone, and he made a documentary film, People of Naples, in which he said that if Neapolitans didn't pollute their city with garbage and everything else, it would be the most beautiful city in the world. And, you know, I agree with him because Naples is just amazing. The influence of cinema on the taste and style of Neapolitans is no accident. Cinema is generally a particularly important art form for them. Marcello Mastroianni, Sofia Loren, Monica Bellucci, Adriano Celentano, Federico Fellini. Italy has given the world a whole array of cinema icons. And you know, it was Fellini who was introduced to the world by the uncle of Napoli's president, Dino De Laurentiis, riding the wave of success. Dino founded his film studio, Dino De Laurentiis Cinematografica, where he was joined by his older brother, Luigi, the father of the current Napoli president, Aurelio. In the 50s, they gave young Federico Fellini money to shoot the film La Strada, about the life of traveling performers, and it was a real masterpiece that won the Silver Lion for directing at the Venice Festival and an Oscar for Best Foreign Film. And a year later, Fellini and the De Laurentiis solidified their success by making another Oscar-winning film, Nights of Cabiria. In 1956, Dino De Laurentiis organized the shooting of another film, which marked the beginning of his collaboration with the Soviet Union and the Mosfilm studio. The idea of filming the novel War and Peace was nurtured by many directors and studios, but at that time, shooting expensive battle scenes was a huge risk, and no one dared to invest in this film. But Dino De Laurentiis decided to take the risk, agreeing with Paramount Pictures for distribution in the US and signing a contract with the world's biggest movie star of those years, Audrey Hepburn, for the role of Natasha Rostova. The film was successful, justified the investment, and even successfully screened in theaters in the USSR. The film was largely carried by the charming Audrey Hepburn. Even the Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev fell under her charm, who summoned officials from the Ministry of Culture and scolded them for allowing a Russian classic's work to be filmed by some Americans. The officials promised to make a domestic version of War and Peace, and in 1967, Sergei Bondarchuk's film War and Peace was released. De Laurentiis was simply mesmerized by this work because Bondarchuk involved 120,000 soldiers dressed in period uniforms, while De Laurentiis could only manage 18,000. Even in Italy, parliamentarians were scandalized by the use of regular army soldiers as extras in films. Thus, the Italian producer realized that the Soviet Union had unlimited human resources, and if accessed, it could produce films surpassing any European or American productions in scale. The plan was as reliable as a Swiss watch. The main production costs would fall on Mosfilm, while De Laurentiis would reap the benefits from the global distribution of films shot in the USSR. Establishing contacts was not difficult. In those years, cooperation between the Soviet Union and Italy was rapidly developing in all areas, including culture.
Thus, a large-scale work called Waterloo was born, which cost $25 million, an astronomical sum for those times.
Moreover, the Soviet Union invested in this work with both extras and money, while De Laurentiis covered only part of the budget. He had no doubt about the film's commercial success, but it flopped at the box office, grossing only $3 million. As a result, De Laurentiis' studio went bankrupt, and then a bill came from the Soviet Union. Officials demanded the return of part of the money spent on filming Waterloo.
De Laurentiis was in a very difficult position, but since the matter was resolved at the state level, the parties reached a compromise. Thus, one of the most famous Soviet comedies, The Incredible Adventures of Italians in Russia, was born.
The Italian producer agreed to finance this film, directed by the maestro of comedy Eldar Ryazanov. It was wildly popular at the box office. In 1974, almost 50 million viewers watched it.
As a result, Mosfilm recouped the money for Waterloo, and the claims against De Laurentiis were dropped. Dino was building connections not only with the Soviet Union. He was extremely successful in Hollywood. It was he who produced the film Conan the Barbarian, where the young Austrian bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger got his first big role. It was De Laurentiis who dared to invest in the early films of the very peculiar David Lynch. No one other than Dino De Laurentiis introduced the world to the Wachowski brothers. King Kong with Jessica Lange, Ridley Scott's Gladiator, the film about Hannibal Lecter, all these masterpieces were made with De Laurentiis' money.
Therefore, when Dino De Laurentiis passed away in 2010, many world stars came to his farewell ceremony.
Meanwhile, the family business had long been run by Dino's nephew Aurelio. It was he who decided to save Napoli from bankruptcy in 2004. His management style was significantly different from what was accepted in Serie A. Aurelio stated that he would no longer invest his own funds in the club and would not attract bank loans.
Instead, he would build Napoli's management so that the club would start earning on its own. Many fans in Napoli were dissatisfied because they dreamed of an owner who would buy football stars for millions.
Of course, with this approach, Napoli's path to the scudetto turned out to be longer than it could have been with another investor. However, the goal was achieved. 19 years after the purchase, De Laurentiis led his club to the long-awaited title. At the same time, Napoli is a club with possibly the healthiest economy.
It is not burdened with debts and shows a profit annually, unlike almost all competitors in Serie A. At some point, Dario suggested stopping by a special bar where Napoli ultras often gather before games. He said we could meet some interesting personalities there, including a fan named Davide, who was banned by either the police or the Napoli club from attending the Diego Maradona Stadium for 5 years.
Moreover, he is also prohibited from approaching the stadium closer than 3 kilometers on game days. Honestly, I was surprised when I heard this and couldn't even imagine what this person did to receive such restrictions. Are you going to the stadium tomorrow? No, I can't get closer than 3 kilometers to it. Never? In the Niger 3 hours before the game and 3 hours after.
Tell me, why were you banned from attending football matches? I can't talk on camera, sorry. It's too serious a matter. He and his friends once sailed to the stadium in a boat and staged a protest before the match. He doesn't want to talk on camera, sorry.
He also asked me not to tell anyone.
Anyway, we're heading to the stadium. There's actually very little time left. We're almost late for the final whistle of Napoli-Barcelona. Napoli will win today. I have no doubt about it at all. Even finding our section isn't that easy. There are just a huge number of people. Just a huge number. I told you, Napoli is real old school. The access system seems to be from the 80s. People stand in line for half an hour and nothing happens at all. Nothing moves. Still, I managed to catch the anthem right at the stadium. It's already playing and we're still standing. This is a different story. This isn't Napoli-Genoa, of course. Barcelona attacks, Napoli attacks, but neither can score yet. The game is tense. There's something to see, but something is missing.
Damn. Barca scores. Napoli-Barcelona. 1-1. You know what I'll say? It doesn't matter if Napoli wins or advances to the next round. When you watch this video, you'll probably already know. But I want to say one thing, that as long as Napoli has such a city, as long as Napoli has guys like Khvicha, as long as Napoli has such fans, they have nothing to fear. And no matter how the team plays, they will always support it. Napoli and Naples, this is real football. Here everything is real, the feelings are real, the emotions are real, the love is real, the love for their club. Here it is real, and that's the most important thing.
And those who watched until the end get a chance to participate in a contest that will soon take place on my Telegram channel. The link is in the description of this video. We'll summarize the results there on March 18th. I'll be giving away a jersey from the official fan shop. Go ahead, subscribe, I'll be waiting for you there. Good luck to everyone in the contest. After spending a week here, I boarded a plane and flew home to cold and snowy Moscow, leaving behind the insanely beautiful and emotional Naples, with its ordinary people doing completely different things, but each of them has the Latin letter N on their heart, which cannot be erased until the end of their days. It was an amazing and interesting immersion, possibly into the most atmospheric football city in Europe. If you ever find yourself here, be sure to go to the stadium and witness the indescribable passion with which fans, families with children, pensioners and regulars of the VIP box support Napoli. It's worth it.